Are we ready? I know I am. So, whether or not you are, it's time for another episode of the Indie Tales Game Dev live stream. Hey, my name is Adam. You are the Pixel Pals. I've already said the name of the show, so without further ado, it's time to go. Welcome everyone to the Friday edition of the stream. Today, we're doing some more work on the Insignia demo. I've been making good progress. Dude, last night I spent so long on the archaeology project, even though it's shipped live. I had like an urgent refactor I needed to do, and it was a big one. It was like basically rebuilding a lot of the flow of the game using more concrete data structure that I used for Insignia actually. And that took me till like after 12. So I'm blasted. It's been a really busy week. I've had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 10 meetings this week. It's crazy. All right, I want to say a big welcome to everybody who's here in chat. Yakira, Virtue vs. Vice. We've got Unicursal, Bomber, yes. Welcome. And anybody who's here on YouTube watching, welcome to you as well. Big thanks also to 10x Dev Art for the most recent follow and Ninja Push Games for the most recent subscription. How's it going? Today's going to be a short stream, unfortunately. We're going to wrap up in only like 3 hours, 3.5 hours. So maybe less. 3.5, 2.5? Only a few hours. So, yeah, it'll be about a 3-hour stream. Okay. Speaking of time on my thing is all wrong. Let's stop that and set that to like 4 minutes, 50 seconds. Go. Cool. Okay. Holdinian. Whoa, back with another crack. What is your guess, Holdinian? That's like 4 hours and 50. That's even wrong again. Stop. 0, 4, 5. Go. Yellow, please. Okay, I'm going to do my best to get you a yellow one. We'll see what happens here. It was a green. If only Yakira had redeemed that one. Unfortunate. Sorry, Holdinian. Alrighty, I'll show you what I've been working on. Dude, I've been a little bit stuck today on I guess just like polish, which I shouldn't be working on. It's too specific, this stuff, but the game's looking pretty swish right now. So let me take you through some of this stuff. I'm fast forwarding through it. I shouldn't do that. I'm showing it off to you. That looks great. That looks sick. That looks sick. That could be a bit better. That's awesome. Perfect. Awesome. 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 How's that looking? That's looking pretty good. So this is the new menu for this. Previously, this used to dismiss after 3 seconds. Now it stays around until you press a button. So now you can see what the ensign is, you can see what the input is, and you can tell what it does. The only thing about this that I'm not happy with, which we used to have in the original flow, was you'd have to kill the enemy before you could, in general, you have to kill an enemy before you can use an ability. I'm giving the tutorial for the ability that you don't have yet. So when I show you the thing that says do this, you can't do it yet. You have to walk up to the enemy, attack it, and then get it. So that's the only wrinkle where like what the player is told and what they have to do next are a little bit different. I could pop up the tutorial. Are these all usable elements in the gameplay? What do you mean by usable elements? Do you mean like the VFX and stuff? Yeah, pretty much. The tutorial slide's just a GIF, yeah. No, see that's the thing. I don't explain the killing the enemy part. I guess it's like implicit in the text, in how the text is described, but I don't know if that's enough. They say like our power resides in, you know, in the world and claim the power to use it, but that might not be enough. I mean, it's definitely not enough. It's too vague, but plausible deniability, right? Well, that's the thing. It's even if it's not intuitive, it's literally the only thing you could do. That's the way that I think about it as well, actually. Like there's probably an argument here to be made, like in the Dark Souls sense of like some things they don't have to be said, you know, it's like just play the game and you'll figure it out. But I don't know. There's definitely a UX slippery slope where you can kind of get too caught up in the exercise of making something comprehensible, you know, like comprehensible. And games aren't about just being told what to do and doing them. Games are also about figuring out what to do. So I don't know. We'll see. It's a good opportunity to do playtesting here. So I'd love for you to, maybe I'll drop players off in that section and see if how they feel about it. Assuming they've done the combat tutorial. So, what I'm trying to do here is the second tutorial here. So basically we've got the first one down. Second one, this little guy comes in here, spits you out, and then there's a moment here where the ensign drops into nothing. It just drops into an empty space. But what needs to happen is this camera shot clip needs to go to camera mark, not camera mark 1. So we need a new mark called 3. Boop, boop, boop. Enemy, cliff, edge. Okay, so we're going from 2 to 3, and 3 is going to be over here. Hey. Push down a little bit. So the other way that we're going to do this is we're going to actually have the enemy itself. So let's select back out of the thing here. Back in here, we've got the enemy, that hedgehog, which is the first one is this one. Yep. So that hedgehog is going here with an activation track. We're going to keep it inactive until this drops in, and then we activate it. We're also going to do an event marker track, and that event marker track is going to be we need a engulf on this enemy. Interesting. I don't remember what I did with the scale curve. Actually, one sec. Let's back out of here and go check how I did it over here. Okay, yeah, this needs to be a prefab. Cool. Let's go get that sequence again. Boom. Over here. And then on that hedgehog one, we're going to throw an engulf on it. Remove this one. This engulf is going to have charge ability, and the sprite renderer is going to be this sprite renderer. That's fine, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine, that's fine. Great, cool. So then in this, we're going to grab that engulf, place it on here, and I think it's called play or something. Yeah. So that's going to happen the second we activate the enemy. It might have been better to have the engulf not part of the hedgehog, but it's all right. Should be right. Okay. So the next thing is we want the spline of this thing here to go into the hedgehog. And right now it goes nowhere. So this is spline controller B. And this is the spline. And this is going to go, I guess, like here. Right there. Which means the hedgehog needs to spawn in there as well. So we're going to put it just to the right in this little crack there. Right there. Sweet. And that should be it, actually. I think we could probably try that now. Oh no. Okay. What went wrong? Did we plug in the third visual point? No. This goes to 3. Enemy. Where is enemy gone? What did I just do? Why is this all the way over here? It should be there. Okay. So, bump, bump. Yep, that's about right. Let's see how it rolls in the level. It might feel a bit sudden. Hey, the Mitsuki guy on YouTube, welcome. If I'm building a Metroidvania, what should my goal in level design be for the first area of the game? Teach the player how to play the game, the basics. Okay, that's way too sudden. Also, that should not be there. Also, where is the hedgehog? Okay. Couple things. First is that maybe hedgehog needs to be inside of this for now. And then after this, we have to go active. Okay. Let's try again. You're not supposed to be... You're not supposed to be there. Alright. Not bad. It's way too fast, but we're getting there. Hey, Tony Chopper. Welcome. Okay, so let's paste this out a bit better. So it's boom, boom. And I feel like maybe the camera move should happen like there's a moment here where if we click this, the spline's going to start right there. So the idea would be move the camera over there. So like we can like shrink this, have this happen here after the camera move. Maybe we can't go further than that. So it's about there. So camera goes zwoof. We made this world, da-da-da, and then hide the dialogue. And then the guy goes in, zoop, bang. And then I think here, before the camera moves, then we say, you must learn them all, our ensigns. Also, I want to get rid of this second camera track. I think it's dumb. And instead, I want to have a third camera position that just we set to be up where the thing is. In this case, it's you. So this is from 3 enemy to 4 crucible. And then I'm not sure if I think this dialogue works. Rainy area. I feel like maybe you've already been watching the stream. I can show you in a sec. Yeah, there should be one more line here. With our words you made this world. Words of color. To form phrases. Different words, different colors. That's a good one. And then at the end, you must learn them all. We missed We missed one here. This is 2, this is 4. We don't have 3. So now it's this goes there, this goes there, and then this goes at the end of this, and then we do this with this placed here, but shrink it down so that it goes there, and then we're good to go. Perfect. Okay, also not right. Let's keep going. What's wrong? This guy here is all broken. You need to go here, enemy, here, crucible, so that the camera goes zoop, all the way up there, sits there for a bit, disappears. That's correct. Also, we need to make sure we're not making our hedgehog go away. Why are you going away, hedgehog? You're supposed to stay active. Post playback state, active. Does the engulf turn itself off? That could be a problem. Ah, yeah, that would be it. Okay, so this engulf can't be on the hedgehog itself. It has to be just out here in the open. That's fine. We can leave it on, actually. I don't think it hurts anything to keep it on. Let's press play. Not bad. We're working on getting these tutorials in their exact right position so we can test them with players. So the engulf, the problem now is that its colors are all wrong. Now, this happens. This effect key needs to be able to tell our Ensign Fire Manager when we assign the effect. I don't think it knows the difference between the different colors, which is a problem. But also, it's also not assigning the material on the sprite renderer to the correct color. I feel like the hedgehog's not. Let's just check to see if it works. So like, if I press this, yeah. So like, there's the material. Is it assigning set material? Sprite renderer. Sprite renderer is the third property, which is this one, which is the hedgehog sprite. It is getting assigned. We know this, but we're not assigning the color. We are. Ensign color indices. Okay, so let's log this. Did I reassign the correct ability? I did. Okay, clear all that. Press a button. Boom. Red. Okay, good. It knew what it was doing. One more time. Two errors while we did that. Material with shader doesn't have the color property outline. Who's calling outline on the capture manager? Yeah. Well, that's going to be okay for now though. So back over to our, we press the button. We look at the hedgehog. Here, sprite has the material on it. The material's color, _ensign color, is wrong. Okay, it's not replace row. It's ensign color. Okay. Well, in that case, it's just the color, right? Is that what it is? Yay, it went red. Perfect. Okay. So far, so good. Did we get a donation? I missed it. Yo. One sec. One sec. I don't have a queue. I got reward request. Ah, it was a Streamlabs one. You know what? If I... but Stream Labels doesn't work anymore. Damn it. That's so annoying. This will tell me. One sec. Sorry, pals. I hate Streamlabs OBS. Yo, Nateful with the $10. Thank you so much. Thank you. Much appreciated. Thank you, Nateful. I got you. So, we got that right. Now the next thing is that we aren't assigning a color when we press play. We need to assign the flame color. And the problem is that we don't have a flame color. That's not something that we have assigned right now. So, or there's no way to assign them. So when we look at this thing here, Ensign Fire Manager to assign effect, here's the key. This doesn't really have any kind of special thing. So we need to be able to pass something in here. We could probably, I mean, does this returns the effect. So actually what we could do is say ensign.effect E equals, and then we could say E dot. Now what does this do? It's a thing that lets us set the color, I'm sure. No. Damn it. We could say for each. Yes, that's what I'm trying to say. So that might get us there really quickly without us having to do much. Oh, that's very dark and red. Holy moly. No, it's not that. It's the renderer. How do you get access to the renderer? Hey, Samus Rose. Uh-oh. Thanks for the follow, Samus. What? Are you lying to me? Full on lying? Wouldn't be the first time. You actually do need to get component particle system renderer? Oh my gosh. This is very expensive. We don't want to do this. But I also have no better way of doing it. So we got these renderers here which have the Ensign palette swap material on them, and the palette swap material has a replace row field. Color to index. Ensign. Have I had to worry about performance? This might be an area. Yeah. How many % of your game official finish? I don't know. 70? Who knows? Hey, Wordnalt. Thank you so much for watching. Welcome. I do this somewhere else.
Looks very cool.
Hey, thanks for the bits, Samus. I appreciate it. That's what I'm trying to do. This thing here is where I'm getting stuck. Ah. Terrible, 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 terrible. Definitely don't want to be doing this way. Let's just see if it works first, just because I want to get to something. Perfect. Yeah. Okay. You know, a better way to do this might be to, instead of playing... I've come full circle on it. There is a better way to do this. Yeah, I think I know what I have to do here. Oof. All right. I'm taking this away. And I need to be able to go to my effect manager. Ability scriptable. Process effect curve event. It's sort of like this, with an input button, and the input button goes on the ability scriptable. So yeah. All right. So it's engulf goes like this. Ability dot process effect curve event with the key at this position with false. Now we don't have to set anything because the abilities know what effects they belong to them, and those are already associated with the right color. So it's actually like way more set up in the game to do it this way. So it's just, the difference is real fire instead of like magic fire. And then when I go back to the other level, it'll be, instead of green fire, it'll be green leaves. But that's what the ability is. It is green leaves. So when I hit this guy, you're not even going to be able to see it because of how that works. That's okay. You see that? So it's going to be like, which is fine. So now the question is, why is it that grass These get placed on just a random default thing. They just get placed on the character layer at -1. There is a reason why I do that, but it's not really convincing this way. Alternatively, what I could do is put this guy's sprite on character -3, just for this one context. So now when I fire this guy up and I run engulf on him, it's in front. Still not even really that. It's not really enough volume, I think, to really cover. But it looks cool. Other thing we could do is go to the engulf thing here and make the scale start a little bit smaller than 70%. That's a whole second, or it's just over time. I think that's too slow. What? This animation goes for half a second. So it's like, you kind of want it to be faster than that, but let's have a look. That's okay. All right. No, it won't be next year. It'll be the year after next year. Unfortunately. Sorry. At the earliest. So now we go over here and we play here. There's something here, I think, in the level design, which is not great, which I want to fix before we go too deep. I think we should pull this 1, 2 in, and maybe even pull this 1, 2. And then this moment here where we pull the camera out, I want it to be facing the hedgehog at that point. So how do we do that? When we go to here, what is it that the camera is resting on? Well, it just reverts back to the action camera, which is not good, actually. Because what the action camera is following Armin. Can I set the action camera's position? There might be a way to do that, actually. If there's not, I would love for there to be an option to do that. That's huge benefit. Okay, so let's first do a commit and say updates engulf to use ability effects. Okay, and then the way this needs to work is at the end of this transition. So we need the behavior for this. Check transition end. What we want to do is set action camera to this. I don't know if that's going to work. But what it is at the end, if clip.set action camera to this, then there is no actual way to do this yet. Actually, it's exit with main camera here. So what this is that my game has a camera system that is a composite system. So what it means is I made that word up, but it is composite. What it's doing is it's taking 3 or 4 things that have different concerns and then averaging them to find the camera position. So the X position, for example, of the camera is dependent on the X speed of the player and where they've moved recently. It'll try to look ahead of where they are and it'll pause there until they move back the other way. Otherwise, it'll keep moving relative to the player. The Y position of that same camera is set by the platforms in the level, where the elevation is. It's always trying to follow the floor. If there are any kind of like what I call zone cameras in the level, so like things that are points of interest, those will also be averaged in with that position. So all of that stuff basically means that I've got this stack of virtual cameras, right? Multi-influence camera, action camera, and the action camera. It's basically it's like a channel mixer situation, like with music mixing, where you've got different groups and they all have different priorities and they all get sort of like averaged up. Now, what I want to do is basically see if I can assign all of the child cameras directly to one position so that at least until they resume behavior, they start where I leave them. I don't know if that's possible. It might not be possible. Because what's happening right now at the end of this cutscene, this is why I need this. If I play this cutscene for you, okay, Armin is here. Armin moves with the camera. His position moving left to right makes the look ahead camera try to look over here because we've been moving that way. So that has no influence right now, but when we return influence back to it, it's gonna be looking over here. So the action camera here thinks that it wants to look at, I don't know why it's all the way over there. It has a virtual position that it wants to set its position to. If I go to like this, the virtual camera position is 3.5 and -4.9, which is, I don't know where that is. Let me just create a new empty game object and do that. 3.5 -4.9. I mean, that's pretty reasonable, to be honest with you. Let's keep looking before we go too deep. So yeah, this, like, why are we here looking at this? Oh, I know. We're here looking at this because we're inside of a zone that's looking there. There's a zone camera here. Sorry, I'm getting mixed up with myself. We're standing right at this edge and there's a camera whose job it is to look at the cliff when we're standing at the cliff. Now, there's a little consideration here that I need to make sure we cover, which is if I take it away, will you be able to tell that there's something on the other side? Because right now, the coins are going to be the only thing that tell you. If I don't pull out, you're just going to see the coins. You're not going to see the rest of the level. So what I'm going to do is take this camera and I'm going to toggle it so that it only shows up after you've killed the enemy. Now these things have conditions. I'm just going to do it myself. All right. So it's going to be called zone camera toggle. And we're going to put this all the way up here. This is zone camera 1. So the toggle is a toggle condition with a condition behavior. The condition behavior is going to say, hey, is this game object active in the scene? And it's hedgehog 1, or just hedgehog. If it's true, the condition is true. Actually, it's the other way. So if the hedgehog is not active in the scene, we want to turn this on. So that's the behavior, and the transform we're going to toggle is this zone camera. Okay, let's try that now. That's an interesting way to solve this problem. I try not to do such specific logic, because if it ever has to change, we're in trouble. So now, I still want to be looking at the hedgehog, you know? So what we can do is we can do another camera. And instead we take this one, we copy paste it, and we're going to put it and say if Armin is standing here, the camera should be looking there at the hedgehog. I'm going to call this hedgehog zone camera, and we're going to say this is true if the hedgehog is alive. Now we see the hedgehog. We can fight him. And then when we go over here, now we see the gap. So better, much better. I'm a little bit concerned about what was happening during that sequence. Something was weird. I'd love for this camera here to actually be looking further over. So looking at this thing here, I actually want this camera to be looking way off the edge so we can see the rest of the level. I want the player to know that that's there. Interesting. Yeah, that's no good. There's something happening at the end where the camera's jumping back and forth as well, which I don't like, and I'm not sure what it is. Because this camera transition track, its job is basically, it's running with this cutscene camera. This doesn't exist anymore. Save that. Do you know what? I'm still learning. There are things that I think I'm doing better than I used to, and there are things that I think I'm doing worse. Or not worse, but like things that I still think I need to learn. Like all this linear editing feels wrong. But there aren't that many ways of doing it better than this. You know? If you want the power of linear editor, you need to work with a linear editor. Otherwise, you do this is like anything that has like floating point positions and multiple layers, like anything that's a timeline, gives you lots of power, but it's very hard to stretch and rearrange. And I, strictly speaking, do want this stuff to be in the game this way. The problem here is really that I'm concerned about having to change this later, and all the work I'm doing to get this just right going out the window. That's more of a you should be prototyping before you polish thing. But because this is a demo, it needs to be polished. So I just have to say okay and suffer it. I built dozens of things to make this work. So it's fine. It's just, it is what it is. So what should be happening here is that this returns back to, let's have a look. Let's look at the camera. So virtual camera stack says it's looking at whatever, no big deal. Okay. Now, oh, it doesn't tell me what it's using. Oh, I guess this isn't really the camera stack. It's the main camera rig that has the camera stack. Okay, so the zone camera is doing the job here. It's fine. And then oh, interesting. There was a zone camera that took precedent over the cutscene camera for a second there. Cutscene camera is still doing its job. Hedgehog zone camera. I see. Those zone cameras. Ah, yes. They're not really allowed to do their job until after the cutscene is over. neither of them are allowed to enter this equation until after the cutscene's finished. So what I could do is I could check to see if you've watched the cutscene as part of the condition in both of them. Actually, also this is wrong. This needs to be Hedgehog is dead to turn that on. This is Hedgehog is alive to turn it on. Okay, but they both say the same thing here. Click this. Off. On, off, on, off. Click them both. On. On? That's wrong. And then when I click this, it's on. What the hell? Anyway. And flag. Does this not have a... Oh, it doesn't have a quest flag associated with it. I guess it's gonna have to. Bro, where'd my toggle go? What the hell? Where'd my other one go? What the heck? What? Where did my... Oh, I must not have saved the scene and done something to load the scene. That's so annoying. Okay, and both of these this is true only if you have watched this. This is also true only if it's dead and you've watched it. Okay. Two different conditions. Both rely on you having watched the cutscene first. I probably need to update the library to make sure that works. The Cobra says, I'm struggling to make a simple 2D logistics game, but starting out with no experience. This is surprisingly motivational to know this is where I could be with practice and dedication. Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Okay. Cool. Nice. Fine. Yes. Good. Much better. So there's probably something to be said. What I just did felt a bit like a hack, but I don't actually have a good answer for what should happen. What? the coins maybe blocking his vision? He doesn't, I mean, he's got a dodge roll. So you can do like a back step like that, or you can roll away from enemies. Okay. So let me outline this problem that we've just run into. This is a camera director challenge. All right. There's stuff that happens in a cutscene. Bop, bop, little reel of film. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, this is a cutscene. There are a bunch of cameras whose job it is to tell the story of what's happening in the scene. Then there are also a bunch of cameras whose job it is to tell the story of what's happening. I was so close there. Whoa. Hey, during gameplay. Right, same sort of thing. Lots of cameras. Some of these cameras work on zones. Okay, so when the player steps inside of the zone, the camera enables and it takes control of what you're looking at. The problem here, what we just figured out, was that there are some cameras, like if I'm inside of a cutscene, and as part of the cutscene, there's a point in the timeline where the player has to walk from one spot to another, and that second spot is inside of one of these camera zones. What should happen? We're in a cutscene, but we've moved into a space that naturally has a focus in it. I think there's no easy answer. I think sometimes I would want to respect the zone camera and sometimes I wouldn't, just depending on what we're trying to do. You would think the cutscene camera should take priority. But then the question is, when does the zone camera kick in? Just after the cutscene camera's released control? When would it not? Well, sometimes... Well, maybe we could. Maybe we just say, as a precedent, cutscene camera always wins. Hey, software artificer. Wouldn't it wait until the cutscene is over and then load the other camera? Yeah, potentially. It's not... I would be okay with seeing if the game, is the same no matter what, if we just ignore everything else and just use the zone camera. I think sometimes maybe I'm relying on the zone camera as a way of setting up the scene. I'm not sure. Like, let me give you an example. So in this level here, when you're standing up here, there is a zone camera that sort of sets the zoom level just by default, which is quite far away. If I had a cutscene camera in here, I might want to have it not determine the zoom level and just let it use the cameras, the scene's zoom level based on the existing cameras that are already in use. I wouldn't want to, through the process of overriding the scene cameras, shift to a different zoom level just because I disabled the scene cameras, the zone cameras. That's a very edge casey thing, but it's possible that I'm relying on that somewhere. I think it should be a toggle. It's so hot. It's so hot, software artificer. It's like 40 degrees here at the moment. I'm lucky I'm living in an air-conditioned house. If the air condition goes down, I'm in trouble. Last night was hot. Very hot. Okay. So I might just prefer having it on a toggle for now, which means it's a specificity thing. You know, I'm realizing something. Like in the game, if you have a game where it only allows you to do one thing, you only have to think about what's happening in one dimension, right? It's like level 1, level 2, level 3, the game's the same. If you have the camera always look at the center, you know, the camera always puts the player at the center of the screen, you never have to worry about it. The second you say, well, maybe sometimes I want to do this thing, sometimes I want to do something different. Now, for everything that could be happening, you have to be able to accept and rationalize the appropriate outcome for every like extra possible dimensional thing that you want to like afford for. And the game can become very complex as you get options upon options. It's harder to track what the right thing should be. So me saying like, oh, I'll just allow a Boolean. It's like, well, 6 months from now, a year from now, when I'm doing a cutscene and something's not working, I have to remember that Boolean exists, you know? It's a little bit, it makes me feel like maybe I just shouldn't do it, but nonetheless, I'm still using other components here to override the behavior. You know, it's a little awkward. For now, I might just continue as I'm going. I'm not going to add a new thing. It doesn't feel right. Did I not just have... Ah, it's there. Yeah, it's not worth it. Not worth it right now. There's not enough precedent. There aren't enough use cases. If it happens more than once, I'll take a swing at it, but if it's only one thing... All right, my drink. Okay, so we should be good actually. We get to the end of the level, we do this. Great. Amazing. This is all great. This is all very parametric. It uses the settings based on which level we are to know what color things should be. We set it once, we use it everywhere. It's very good. Even this, all of this is pre-populated with the logic, and then it just figures out the context and assigns the right colors and the right levels, and very good. The last one that we have to do is this one. Okay, so this is now number 3. And number 3 has... Oof. What does Armin say? Getting the hang of this, Hark Apprentice. Words are formed from colors, da-da-da. Here is where I would want that to happen. Right here, which is very lucky for me because that means I don't have to do much. All right, we're going to make the snake appear in a splash of color. So first we get our engulf. And we're going to put it inside of this. We're going to grab our timeline. We're going to add our engulf as a as an event marker track with a clip on it, and the clip is the engulf behavior at play. So at this moment, it's going to play. We're also going to toggle the snake. This one. Where is he? This one. I'm going to activate you only here to the end and leave as is. We're going to grab our engulf and then make sure it's assigned to the snake. So, where are you, snake? There's the sprite. The ability is, it is a rise. It shouldn't be a rise by default, but it is. How does it know that? I think it should have been scale before. Save this really quickly. Go over here. This needs to be scale. Okay. Come back here. The engulf has a rise, perfect. It's got the snake sprite, good. And it's going to activate that snake, boom, right at that moment. We also don't have the ensign. Currently, it's doing what? Spline controller B. Let's go have a look here. Right now it's doing that, and then we need kind of like one more of it like diving into the thing. Unless actually it does dive into it and I just didn't finish it. Ah, there it is, right there. This last little curve. So what's bothering me about this is I want a key right here. And then I want another key right here. And then I want to stretch these out so that I can put them where I want to put them. They almost should be separate animations, to be honest with you. And then these two keys your right tangent should be linear and your left tangent should be linear. Better. Okay. So, where's our camera? Camera goes. We need to go, instead of here to there, we need to go there to here. So we can just swap these, I think. And then instead of camera 3, we go back to camera maybe 2. I don't know what it is. It's no, can't preview them. Okay, that's annoying. Ah, it's the wrong one. Okay. Okay, still no good. This is 3 to 4, but it should be 2 to 4. So this is now 2 to 4. Camera goes all the way over there. And then from 4, it needs to come to 3. So back here, let's see if that actually worked or if it'll break. 2 to 4, Yeah. So it's here. I don't like that. Why is that breaking? It shouldn't go up there. It's 2 there. 2 to 4. Okay, there we go. From there to there to there. I don't even think I want to show you the end. I think I'm okay with just letting it be, actually. So let's read it. What is the... Let's look at the dialogue. I think I'm getting the hang of this. Da-da-da. Our worlds... Hark, apprentice. Our worlds are formed from 4 colors. Camera starts to move now at the end of that line. But you may choose only one at a time. Yes. Play the thing. Bring. You must choose wisely. Zoom. Leave. Okay. That might work. Also, Snake. That's fine. Press play. That's annoying. What's going on over here? Missing reference exception. Where are we looking here? The sheet doesn't exist anymore. What about when I'm zipping around this part? Where did the animator for the flame go? We've got arm and dummy. Teleport out, perfect. We've got splines here. We've got this dummy clip. We've got the roll. Where did the track go for the retro box clip that was handling? Oh no, that is it there. And this is teleport in roll. But for some reason, this dummy can't seem to preview here. Hey, Cyborg Chipmunk, thank you so much. I decided to leave it where it was. Just work around it. That's the correct game object. It should be able to resolve this, no problem. That's very annoying. I might be just a save it, get out of here and load the scene again situation. I don't want to have to do something that doesn't actually make any sense to do. No, that's very annoying. How come I can do this, idle combat, that's fine. But I can't do this one. They're the same thing. If I delete this, paste this here, Okay. Wait a second. I think I know what's happened. Is it to do with the retrobox file not being... Ah, yes. That would be it, wouldn't it? I fixed that yesterday, but I must not have kept it. That might have fixed it. Please, 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 please. Yay. Okay. It was my fault. Sweet. Okay. Wouldn't you believe it? Takes mask off. It was me. And I would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for me. Yeah, still doesn't look good. What is... What is this flame animator? Do I even really need that? I feel like I don't need it. I feel like the dummy is the one that's going to do the role. So why do I have this flame animation? What if I just... Wait, but it is just there. There is no... What am I looking at right now? What is this? This is the first one. Well, what are you doing here? Okay. You are just supposed to be null. Right now. Stupid. All right. First actual test. Oops. Okay. That was bad. Doesn't have a property outline. That's fine. But we didn't quite get what we were looking for there. Let's have a look. So first of all, this is like way, way, way too long of a lead-in time. When the cutscene starts, it's not until like... It's not even on screen until here. So why don't we just push this just off screen so that... I mean, literally... Just start it there, bring this forward. Maybe like, literally like, I mean, even that's fine. Bring all of this forward. And then we can cut this length of this entire cutscene by that much time. So comes down, spits Armin out. This needed to be a much higher frame rate, like 14 maybe, and certainly does not loop. Let's make sure that it's a little bit ahead of us right now. Also, an issue. Looks like this color is not this color. Not that this is very well animated yet. So this needs to happen a little bit later. Much better. Which also means we get the luxury of we get the luxury of being able to bring everything here back by that much. So, vroom. I'm getting the hang of this. Hark Apprentice. Camera moves all the way over here. And says, our words are formed with blah, blah, blah colors. Camera moves all the way back here. One voice at a time. And we never did the spline updates. So, that's because the spline here needs to be physically updated to look like what it needs to look like. So, it's going to go all the way down onto the snake. All right, let's try it now. Annoying. Annoying. Okay, a couple things. I think I already know what's happening. First thing is that the camera move starts happening before the dialogue finishes. So right here, this overlap's no good between this pink line and this one. So this needs to just be boop afterwards. Second thing is that our ensign gem is turned off by that point, which is no good. Might even be better to have these be like just after. Yep. One more time. Getting there. This also needs to be right there. And we also don't want the camera to be moving this moment here. There's dialogue. This thing starts shifting. Okay. You need to be here. You need to be here. I might need a second ensign. It kind of doesn't really make sense. Also, like, what's happening here with Armin, like, toggling on and off? Okay, that's fine. Yeah, tech needs to go away. Perfect music. Yeah, it needs to do 2 of them. 2 engulf moments. Also, the snake. I think I want to, like, force it to spring up. I could fake it. I could make the snake spawn in after and just do like an animation that looks like the snake. The Mitsuki guy says, what's the most accessible resolution to work around? 640 by 360 I think is pretty good. Okay. Hey, Arikijin, welcome. That's fine. Okay. All right. Let's see what that does. How did you get enabled? You shouldn't be enabled. Is it you? You shouldn't be enabled either. How come? How come? What? But it knows which one it is here. That's so annoying. Come on, Unity. You are there. Save it. Back it up. Rewind it. Run it back. Press play. Yep. That was really good. Cool. Okay. I ended up looking up what a dictionary is when you meant that. Turns out it's exactly what I'm doing actually. I have all my items stored in a database hash table and I have accessed their values using an item ID. And I think you said using numbers for ID is hard to read, but actually very easy to read. On MSVC at least, I just hover my mouse on an item and item ID tells me the integer value. Let me explain why it's bad. Okay. You have items. Right? Oh, hello? Hello? Let me know if we're back. Looks like we're okay again. Just a momentary dip. Okay. So, this is the problem. With IDs. The IDs are good if you are only using them as storage. You're not using them in order to actually recognize what the item is. That is to say, you've got some object in the game, right, that stores like the texture, right, for like your image, for your item, and the name. Okay? The name is like apple, and the image is an image of an apple. Okay? And then you have an ID, right? It could be like 5. Okay? And this is just like an int. If this is stored in some object, the problem is, there's a few problems. The first thing is, it's okay if you have a dictionary of IDs and you get Apple. Well, I'll rewind even further. If you just have a list of IDs, you don't know whether this is inside of it. first of all. Second of all, if you want to get this from this, well, this does nothing. You have to have something stored against the IDs. These are called key value pairs in like database design. You have like your ID 5, and then you have your thing. You call this like Apple object. We'll call it AO for short. So if you have AO at index 5, that's fine. The thing is, it's not a hash, right? It's not a hash. Because it's a dictionary. There's a difference between those two things. The difference is that a hash has the keys only. A dictionary has the keys with their values. But I'll tell you why this is bad. What's bad is integers are not unique. They're not unique. So you could create some other item somewhere else and give that an index of 5. This is like a pair, right? Oh, this looks different from an apple, but it's got the same ID. Yeah. I just think hello, we back? We okay? Yeah, the thing is you're doing something different. When you say you have an enum and you're using the enum, you're creating when you do an enum is kind of like its own dictionary or hash of preset values. An enum is not the same as storing it by an integer. An enum is technically an integer with like a string attached to it. And an enum don't send a screenshot. An enum has like, it's forced for the strings to be unique. You can't have two of the same string definition in an enum. So if you have apple in your enum, you can't put another apple in. That forces them to be unique. And now, as long as you're not using the index anywhere, as long as you never refer to apple as 0 or 1, but by their names, right? If you're just referring to this as pair, it doesn't matter what the index is. So when you say you're using integers, that's not what you're using. You're using an enum where you're resolving the integer from the enum. That's different. At editor time, the structure of the enum doesn't let you compile unless all of the values are unique, which means they can be used as primary keys, which means you're okay. But I still don't like the idea of using an enum for all your game's items. I think that's really kind of awkward. But it's however you like it. It's not a big deal. The reason why it's not good, just to elaborate, the reason why it's not good to use an enum is that everywhere in your code that references this enum is still referencing it via the string. If you change the problem with this is everywhere in your code that uses like apple or whatever, let's say you have a script that's a tree and the tree drops apples, and you write, okay, tree.drop equals apple, which is the same string as in the enum. if you change the string in the enum definition, now you have to make sure that you replace everywhere that you used to say apple with the new name, which could be like apple with a capital A. So like what you're doing is you are coupling your logic with your data when you do that. You're saying the code in my game is the same as the database that my game is. But most games usually have a big line through this. Most games have like your logic, which is how things behave, and your data, which is like the assets, right? The file types, the PNGs, all that stuff. Usually you don't want to couple those things because you want to be able to make decisions that let you swap some of this stuff out, right? Like if I have a texture for my apple, I don't want to hard code the texture in my script. I'm not familiar. Yeah, glyco. So that's not, I guess what I'm saying here is, I know that they are integer. I know that the enums are integers, but in the way that you use them, you are referencing them using text is what I'm trying to say. Maybe string was not the right way to describe it here. The point is you're like, I have enums in my game. You know, okay. What I'm saying is you're going to use the text out of range when you refer to, like in this case, I have this end reason, right? This is a state, and the state has 3 different reasons why it can end. The text out of range, right? Over here, I'm saying footsie's end reason out of range. I'm typing the word out of range, right? In a way, what I'm doing is hard coding this enum value to this if statement. Now, that's okay because I'm describing behavior. I'm not describing data. Out of range is just a thing that we use to determine what to do next. It's not an asset in my game. Whereas you're saying that your game's items are stored against enums. So you're, like I said, it's kind of a philosophical thing, but I don't personally like it very much because it's essentially coupling these two things. It's saying the data is the enum. The data is this text that I've written, this textual definition. And some of the data in the game is text, and that's fine. Like obviously, like the name of the item is text. The value of the item is text because it's an integer that you're typing in. This is worth 10 gold. That's all fine. The difference is those things aren't being used to create references to that item. So if something's not being used as a reference, for example, these are my special abilities. Okay. This is an ability in the game. They have different colors, different names. None of this information is being used to actually track or reference this item. I never type the text launch in my game when I'm trying to refer to this asset. Because if I change the name of this thing, now all of those places where I referenced it are wrong. Instead, it's just an asset that I reference. And when you reference an asset, you're referencing its uniquely stored position in your project. In my case, it's in a dictionary. So like there's one source of truth where launch ability is defined. And as an asset, it has a path. So the path is unique. Every time I look for the thing at that path, I get whatever was saved there. and I can change this however I want. So that's why you use GUIDs, or the Poggers of Poggers said UUIDs. Basically, globally unique identifiers. That's the purpose of all database design requires unique IDs or unique keys in order to store things against, for the purpose of, in this case, you can modify it without breaking the references, and you avoid collisions. With your enum solution, you are avoiding collisions, but you're not supporting modification very easily. Depending on how you are using them, there may be scenarios where you want to change what the name of an item is, and that might break somewhere else, because maybe in some JSON file, maybe there's a part in your game where you have, for example, some dialogue. And in the dialogue, it references an apple. And that dialogue is stored in a JSON file. The text apple at that point is just a string. And you're going to try to, maybe you want to retrieve the enum based on the string, because that's your data, your text file, your JSON file doesn't have that. Okay, you say, well, that doesn't work. Maybe what I'll do instead is use the integer 5. Hey, character, pick up the item .5 or whatever. And you expect that to be apple. But if you ever change the arrangement of your enums, now 5 is not apple anymore because the index might have moved if you put something earlier or later in the definition for the enum. So neither the string nor the integer index of the enum are reliable in that context, because things can move and change in your definitions and break the reference. That's the reason why it's not a good idea. It's principally almost the point that a GUID or like a reference, like a path, it's almost the point that those things aren't actually related to the definition of what your item is. It's almost the point, because they'll never have to change, right? I'm never going to change the GUID of my items in my game. They get set once and they'll never change. The thing is, the name of the item is held in the hash table though. It takes 2 template arguments, item ID, base name, where base item is a struct type that holds the string name, string description, meaning it's very modular. If I want to change the name of an item, I don't touch an enum. But for you to know which item you're referring to, the name of the item is held in the hash table. It takes 2 template arguments, item ID and base item. I just don't really like it. Yeah, I just don't like it for reasons I've explained. If it works for you, I'm happy for you. I've come to this distinction over a lot of game dev. All right, we'll look at your screenshot. Yeah, I can't stand this. I would really be careful doing it this way. It depends on the size of your game. If your game is something that you're only going to work on for a couple of months, this is probably okay. If you're going to spend more than a year on this project and there's more than like 20 items, I'd be very careful. also like it's not a great way to format the JSON data or the markup language data, like all in one line like this. Yeah, I'm trying to like, there will always be a distinction between what is right in principle and what is right in the context. So if your context is simple, fine. But I would say your goal when you're doing a project for the sake of learning, your goal should be to develop good principles. So maybe this is not something that you care too much about, but if you're trying to make a bigger game next, and this is the only way that you've done it, one way or another, you're going to find out the hard way why this is not a good way to do it. I'm okay with you if you know that you don't want to use this as an exercise to learn like good data design. That's fine. I think then just go ahead and make it work however you like. But if this is an exercise in like learning that stuff, I would say like getting away with it is something that you do when you know better. If you don't know better and you're trying to get away with it, just factor in the possibility that you might have to rewrite it. Okay. Yeah, there's also like another layer here. There's two sort of aspects to this. One of them is about the security of the design. Another thing is about the utility of it as a solution for you as an interface. Like in my game, I'm not having to look at a file with like thousands of, like, for example, I've got like things of type item, and there are, this is like, how do I put this? So like, these are the items in my game. They are assets and they are kind of loose. It'd be nice for me to get a table here for these at some point. And I have like an interface for these things. So it's not like the fact that I've got a GUI for this stuff helps me. But I think the fact that they're assets is very flexible. For example, I can store and track where these things are referenced in the game. I can click this here and go to the level where this is stored. That's pretty effective. And the reason why I can do that is because I have the asset as a serializable piece of data that lives in the scene that I can find at this path. It's so hard to explain if you're just doing a small project why you would do it this way. I'm kind of done with the conversation because I know that it's like I'm selling someone a boatyard, but they're building a dinghy, you know? No worries. Good luck with the game. I hope it works out. I don't think I use checksums. What is a checksum? No, nothing like that. And I'm not saying that I'm good at this stuff either. I just know what I've learned. Just by, because I've made mistakes, you know? Or because I've done something so many different ways that I've been able to compare the ways that I've done it and gone, oh, this one was way better. Right, this isn't going to be good yet, but just got to check that it works. Nope. Close. One more time. Man, what the hell? You're supposed to be off. Wait, immediately it turns back on? I can't stand this stuff, man. Okay, it's off now. Press play. Still off. Good. 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 Okay. So, first things first, this descends down, and it's there that this stuff needs to happen. So this is pushed forward a bit, but this part goes back. And we also need to extend out a bunch of stuff here. So We need to. You may only sing one voice at a time. So it's this point here. Our words are formed with voices of different colors. So at this point, everything after this needs to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. All right. This can go at least to here. I can go to there. This part here, this splash has to wait until all the way there. This goes to there. And now we need like a second one. There would have been a way easier way to set this up. I made this so hard for myself. That goes there, hides that. All right. I wish I could drag this stuff left and right. That would save me so much energy if I could drag the things inside of the group. Anyway. So, it's this moment here where these things play out. This is snake, this is dandelion. This needs to go inside of this. And these things happen. It says, our words form for you press OK, and then it goes black. And this goes there. So it's like, still not enough though. Should have given it more time. Yeah, okay. We'll see if we can get away with that. Ah, screw it. I'll do it the long way. Armin will live. Bro. All right. Yep. All right. So now it's here. So we need another ensign and another spline. The Mitsuki guy says, not sure if this is anything you can help with, but I'm using Game Maker. I have tile sets that have details that are longer than the cell size. I mean, you can just make 2 tiles and make the detail go across the 2. I don't think there's a way to make it to make it 1. Hey Swizz, how's it going? Thanks for that. I made all the editor tools myself, except Elzak here in chat has helped with Scene Graph recently. The recent versions. But I also I built that originally. Okay. Oh my gosh. I'm so tired of looking at this. My eyeballs. Protect me. Okay, is it on or it shouldn't be here? You should be gone. Good. Good, good. Play. Go. Nice. That was perfect. That's good tutorialization. The cat video, so I'm on basically, I've edited it and I'm just going to I have to do a title and a thumbnail and any last B-roll footage that's going to go over the top. So I've just been so busy on the archaeology project because that's a live project in a museum exhibit, and they had some bugs earlier in the week that I needed to solve, and the only way I could solve them was to do like an 8-hour refactor. So it literally took me, I've spent like more than an entire workday this week after hours solving that. Yeah, you have infinite charges if you kill the enemy. That's right. But if you take another one of the same color, you don't get to keep it. So now you only have the kick. You don't have the jump anymore until you go get it again. Oh gosh. There's currently no time limit, but there may be some kind of limiting factor later. Like, so that you can't spam it. But that's the only concern. It's not anything to do with like anything else. Do you only begin split? I don't know what that is. Console view, and I don't know what that is. Let's leave it off. Hey, Benayam, welcome. Okay, so where are we? We're committing this. Adds, updates, third Crucible cutscene. Dude, that was something else. Now I think it's playable. Just about. It's just about playable. Let's do a quick run through from this point. And let's get the music up here and we'll crank it properly as if we're doing a full playthrough. If you like. Oh, what's that snake doing down there? You're not supposed to be there. This, I don't know what it is about this that sometimes it just ignores. Two things there. Sometimes Dandelion 3 ignores us. Some snake left over from other teleporter tutorial sequence. Okay. What are we, some kind of insignia? Looks like we some kind of suicide squad. You have to put one in there. You have to. In the last month. Ignore the snake. He's not supposed to be there. I was thinking that too, old bags. I'll get there. It's possible to do. It's just I haven't got any support for it yet. But yeah, I can have it be a different thing. I did, Saravati. You saw that too. I framed it with the chocolate. Tricks when you're the developer. I'm surprised you noticed. Starting. Yeah, it's definitely getting better. You should see, it's gonna look, this game, when it's ready, like the environment art stuff that we're doing at the moment is like another level way up above this. In terms of like creating pretty art. Mistake. Gotta go back down. Ouch. Demo soon. And then technically we'll have already done all this. Well, these scenes don't have music right now. We're working on some boss music at the moment. Shall I play the boss music maybe from Figma? I think this is it. Actually, that's not it. Well, I'm getting goosebumps. What the hell? Oh, that was so, oh my gosh. Oh, wow. That was slick. Speedrun strats. Oh, did I break it? Did I break it? Oh, okay, I broke it. Still pretty good. Why did this break? I wonder. There should be a button I can press. Ah, I can. There we go. It's all good. I'm almost dead. Let's hang on. We're good, we're good. No, it broke the game because there was a cutscene there that I was supposed to have already done that I hadn't done. So it didn't know what state to put her in. Hey. It's always like that. I don't know how to do it. I guess I could just force myself over there. That's supposed to load us into a different scene. Whoops. It's alright, we can just zip over there. Yeah, it's always had a console. I just barely use it because it's the editor tools are better. The music should cut here. That could look better. It used to look better. In 2018, it looked better. Oh, the bunny hopping. I haven't pressed forward yet. I'm conserved all the momentum, just tapping jump. Cool, man. Cool. Only a couple bugs there. Book doesn't take you to Athenium. This should work. Yay. I think it's looking really good now. I mean, like, the game is in a place where, like, I can see not just like it being good, but it's like I can see the gap between, it's quite tangible between like where it's at right now and where the best I could ever expect it to be and plan for it to be. Like, it's like most of this chapter, I think, is, in terms of the presentation, like the peak of the presentation doesn't need to be higher than it is right now. I don't think it just needs to be, you know, a little tighter, a little more, you know, timely. And it's mostly about maintaining the player's attention by guiding them carefully through their little, what's the word, order of priorities. That's really what mostly it's about. Adding more NPCs here and there, fine. Adding more set pieces and environmental backgrounds, great, yep, really important. But in terms of like the game of Insignia is an adventure game. And the adventure game of Insignia, in terms of where am I going? What am I doing? What do I need this for? Where am I going? That stuff, the like Indiana Jones plot, you know, the Day of the Tentacle sequence of things you have to do. That stuff, I haven't really been able to get a good grasp on and feel confident in until like the last month or two since we added the map. And since I've been adding the global schedule to allow me to jump in and out of the map, to do storytelling and, you know, move around the levels and just guide the player a little bit more. Since that stuff's been there, I feel like it's become a lot easier to understand, like there are all these rules that the ensign system has, and being able to express those rules through like not just UI that says press this button to do this, you know, but like, oh, like you only get 2 colors, like you only have so many colors at a time, you can't have 2 of the same color. Stuff like that is stuff that now is being told sort of a bit more through the flow of the narrative rather than just, I mean, I never got to say that before. It was just all, the rules were just implicit and you had to just figure them out. Yeah, I really, the background art that we're currently working on is gonna be really cool. Tim's gonna be great, I think. I hope I can keep him on the project long term. His just understanding of like building a scene, and it's much more what's the word? It comes much more from TV. So he's not as locked into the idea of tile sets, and I don't want him to be. I want him to keep thinking of it like he's drawing backgrounds for a TV show. We're figuring out how we can get him onto the project at the moment. So, 3 things before I gotta go. One is that Dandelion 3 is still ignoring us. I don't think I can solve that right now. That might be harder than it looks like to solve. It's not production, it's demo. The biggest one is this one and this one. Yeah. I'll introduce Tim a little bit later. Once he's like a contractor onto the project. We're just doing a test right now, so there hasn't even been a contract signed. So I probably shouldn't have even said the word Tim, but you know. All right. So book doesn't take you to the Athenaeum. That's really annoying, and I don't know why. So let's look at why. Oh, it's just an item drop with a sequence player and a quest sequence trigger that triggers this sequence. This is not right. Let's have a look. Whoops. Not the sound effects, the music. Okay, so you... Yeah. Hello? What the hell? Okay, so that just doesn't work anymore. And that's okay, because I don't even want it here. I want a condition. Oh. Oh. Okay. Well, that should just work then. Oh, yeah, it did work. Oh, okay. Well. Great. The new tools are so good. It's the old tools that are bad. 6 months later. Yeah, that's great. Okay, good. What's my push? I don't know what it is. Okay. So that's that done. Next. A snake left over from the... Ah, yep. You have you, which is part of you, which is part of you, which is part of you, and you have to turn off. But not just here, everywhere. No more snakes. Good. Great. Okay. Please do wishlist Insignia for sure. So that's done. And it should be done everywhere. We can go and check the next scene where it might occur, because that prefab also exists over here. No snaky, no jakey. Good. This one, I'm just going to leave it for another time. I don't know why it happens, but basically sometimes this dandelion refuses to get attacked. I don't know what the cause is. Like, that doesn't work sometimes. Can we wishlist the chapter 1 demo? I will, in the next, what have we got in our testing criteria? So I'm going to remove the chapter 1 story. Well, maybe I'll keep that one, but I'm going to add in a couple of more tests. One is like the day 1 part, and one is the latter section of this. So getting all 3 ensigns and maybe just getting to like the top of this and exiting. That would be the last point. So just from here right around to here. I don't even know if there might be I wonder if there's a way I can do that. That makes it like shortcutty. I could do like a new scene graph where exiting this takes you directly to Magnus's workshop or something. It's hard to test like parts of a story. You know what I mean? Because then you're taking it out of context. So I don't know. I know that last time a lot of people couldn't finish it because of bugs, and so there was pressure to break it up into smaller pieces for that sake. I don't know. All right, I'm gonna go. Thank you, pals. We will do a demo soon. I don't know how I'm gonna... Maybe what we can do is have it be part of like a test save file. So you can only do the tests in order. So anyone who's doing test chapter 1 part 3 has to have done chapter 1 part 2 and chapter 1 part 1. So even if the test doesn't involve that stuff, I know that you've done it. Ah, that would be cool. Yeah, okay. Let's find someone to raid and get out of here. I'm gonna go watch a musical tonight. Oh, Rui Pana, she's great. She's very fun. Thank you, pals. I'm seeing I'm seeing Back to the Future, the musical. Pals, thank you so much for checking out the stream today. I had so much fun. I hope you did too. Please go ahead and wishlist Insignia on Steam if you want to support the channel. I'm also going to be uploading a new YouTube video this weekend, so look out for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As always, I've been Adam. You've been the Pixel Pals. This has been the Indie Tales Game Dev live stream. Until next time, bye.